Well, it's another weekend coming up here, so I figure let's do some more Major League sports update videos on their return to play plans here, or in some cases here, maybe there is some stubbornness with the players and the owners here. I'm definitely going to say that's the case with Major League Baseball right now, that it seems like the owners and the players, they want them to play and try to make as much money as possible here. However, I'm not sensing some labor peace right now. As definitely, it's not looking good right now in my mind. When you got millionaires and billionaires fighting here. So this video, I'll talk about updates that I've understand from Major League Baseball in terms of their return to play plans to have a 2020 baseball season here. Now, let's just say the ideas I said in the past year where it sounded like they were going to resume spring training. It's kind of hard to call it spring training now that we're into June here, and then have the season start fittingly on Independence Day for the U.S. here. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think the earliest baseball could be resuming will be probably in August here, and it almost would seem kind of sad here. I mean, obviously, the only thing we're stressing here with the return to play plans here is to do it as safely as possible during this global pandemic here. However, you also got to wonder, baseball seems to be a little more on the riskiest side, where they're still committed to playing in their home ballparks here. I know it all comes down to trying to regionalize and televise the games here to still get some money here, but number of games definitely seems to be up in the air here. I mean, a 162 game season, it's not going to happen in 2020. And the National League and American League, that's not going to happen here because they came up with these divisions, as you can see in my other videos and what's on here online, that they try to cut down travel here. But the 82 game season does not seem to happen here, because that seemed to have been the agreement here. However, the players seem to counterback that they wanted a 114 game season, full salary, and an expanded playoffs here, and the owners definitely didn't approve of that, and they've countered with a 50 game season and a prorated salary where on per game basis players will still make about the same. I mean, at the end of the day, especially for the ones that make more money, are going to be taking a cut here, but that seems to be the case for all of us here and in professional sports with the NBA. I know the NHL, you don't know exactly what the situation with the salary cap is, but they have that escrow where, it's divided between the players and the owners here. That escrow payments are definitely going to be bigger in that league here. But it just seems like both sides are very stubborn in the Major League Baseball right now. And I think to take that, hopefully maybe they'll come up with somewhere in between here, because it's not going to be 114 games. 50 games, not sure here. But when the Players Association and the league don't seem to be agreeing right now, I could sense some, disruption in play here in the future, which is definitely not a good time, especially during this global pandemic, and the fact that the TV contract for Major League Baseball is up here. And then the last piece of all this is, let's say, because it sounds like the NHL and the NBA, they've agreed, or mostly with their return to play plans here. What happens if we have hockey and basketball back, for especially in the U.S., before baseball? That's definitely going to push baseball a little out of the spotlight here. And I know baseball definitely had their rough spell there. It's kind of ironic what brought them back in the spotlight here is that when the strike happened in 1994, what if we didn't have that strike there, that would have wiped out the 1994 World Series. These guys might have won the World Series here. It took a while for baseball to came back, and ultimately it was the home run chase. Started with Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire there, where they surpassed Roger Maris's record there, and then eventually it came out that a lot of players that were hitting a lot more home runs and bring back the excitement there had a little help with a syringe and some liquid that they inject in themselves, holding the steroids. That seems to be ironic there. That's what got baseball back here, but it's definitely been declining here. And that's all I know about baseball's return to play plan here. Is we definitely don't know here, and the fact that the season's going to get shorter here, it definitely would make the games mean a lot more. Because in a 162 game season, you get teams that, by the end of April, they're like realistically, they're out. And thinking, oh, what's there to train for this season? That's definitely going to make games mean a lot more here. And then you got to wonder how you manage because in one of my videos in the past here, and a commenter was asking about how do you manage the rotation. That's definitely something to keep in mind here, assuming we play baseball here. But, it's definitely sounds like that Major League Baseball wants to have the World Series still awarded at the end of October here, because you definitely not know what the weather here is. And baseball seems to be stubborn right now when it comes to the Players Association and the owners here. When it comes to getting how they decide how many games and how to divvy the money here, but revenues, unfortunately, is going to be down everywhere, especially if you're not going to have fans in the games yet, because it's not deemed safe yet by local health authorities and the governor there. So what do you think about all this? I sense some potential bumpy road when it comes to labor, so possibly a labor stoppage and possibly trouble to get renegotiating a new TV deal if there's a prolonged stoppage or some kind of disruption of play in Major League Baseball right now, where it sounds like the other leagues seem to still have a plan here. And when it comes to football still has time with the NFL, and the NFL is always going to be king in the U.S. here. However, the NBA has their plan. I'll talk about that in separate videos, the NBA and the NHL's plans here. If they get to go on TV before Major League Baseball and return here, and then all of us sports fans, including myself, starving for new content here, that's definitely going to, change the market share. And then there's a generational thing with baseball as well. So like I say, what do you think of all the things? I just sense the sides are far apart right now, and it kind of reminds me of in the past when the NHL and the NBA have had some labor disagreements, especially when it comes to the NHL season where we wiped out the 04-05 season there. But I always keep saying that was necessary for the NHL at that time to get to the point where it is now. So anyway, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, along the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders here, I mostly talk Calgary sports, but I do casually follow these other Major League sports, and I definitely would like some new, fresh content as soon as possible here, when it's deemed as safe as possible during this global pandemic here. But I also do personal logs, attempt to comedy, and I also share my experiences. Let's say I'm on the road or at a sporting event here, so if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey. And I also have my other social media links down in the description below there for other ways you can follow me here. So yeah, this is my first video here talking about Major League sports updates here, and this is my take on Major League Baseball right now. What I heard here, that I think we're still a couple months away from Major League Baseball restarting here, and definitely going to be having a shorter season for sure. And I just sense right now there's potential for some unrest. No labor peace between the owners and the players here if they can't seem to agree right now. While the other major leagues, they seem to agree on it on both sides here. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's everybody wants to play and try to recoup as much money as possible given the circumstances and stay relevant to stay in the respective market shares here to potentially grow in the future. But it is what it is. So as I say, I'll see you in the next video here.